When you are watching Zeus Network and all these girls fighting and catching their man cheating and they beating the girl up, it sets you up, one, to think that all men are cheaters. Because I watched Love and Hip Hop in the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, what you doing? Like, stuff is coming in my spirit. This man ain't doing nothing. What is some advice that you would want to give to a married woman that feels like a single mom? In those environments where I was, working hard, I was cooking, I was cleaning, did you feel that I was under a lot of pressure? Like, we feel like y'all just ignoring us, being scandalous fathers, being a scandalous husband, but like, were you aware? Should a non-biological parent, a step parent, be able to discipline the child that is not theirs? Step kids are only difficult because parents and adults are difficult. One of the songs that I couldn't listen to was SZA, The Weeknd. I just killed time through the weekend. You like 9 to 5 on the. You don't know that song?
Listen, y'all. Listen.
He's really
Hope y'all
saved.
don't think I'm a super corny Christian
He's
type of guy.
really saved,
but
y'all.
I just really don't.
He loves the Lord.
I don't really listen to too much like R&B. And
Okay,
stuff
so you making me
nowadays.
seem like I'm out here.
This is an Ewable production.
Period. What's up, y'all? My name is TK.
And my name is Namdi.
And you are Pillow Talking with the Ewables. Yes, episode 15.
15, but up.
Yes, if you want to share who we are, what we do.
So we motivate the common couple to become extraordinary and singles to receive God's best in relationships. So pretty much anything with relationships, man, you are in the right place. Let's get it.
Yes. So
action-packed show. Let's
it
go.
really is. Every time. It really is. God has been so good. Listen,
Really
this show is so special because all of these questions, every single topic is from you. Yes, our followers, our subscribers, those that listen to us on our podcast. We are so grateful for you. We love when y'all feed us the questions and the topics y'all want us to cover. And so we're going to get right into it, babe. We ended up going to our first speaking panel together, and there was a young lady that listens to our podcast, and she gave us this topic, and she said, how do married people stay pure? How to stay pure and as a married couple, and what is not pure? And I thought that was such a phenomenal topic because people talk about purity in their single walk, but no one's talking about how you can be very impure as a married couple. And so I wanted to first, before we give you solutions, kind of share with you what we believe as the Ewables, as the Ewables.
Messing up our name.
That's because I got on too much lip gloss.
That's all right. If y'all might see if y'all see that, that's from her because I kissed her. Because my lips are shining. It just is what it is.
Too much came out of the tube. But first we want to talk about things that can defile your marriage. Things that, maybe you're doing and you don't know. Subconsciously, things are attacking gates that we're leaving open. And so, or maybe you're not doing it and you want to just make sure you're not going to do it in the future. And so, I want to tell y'all a quick story though first. So when we first moved to Atlanta, my daughter went to a Christian school back at home, and I wanted to keep that going because it was beautiful to know that they were going to chapel and they were learning about God and they were learning the Bible stories and all of these things. And so I wanted to continue that. So I was on the phone with a young lady and I was asking her, because she lived here, I was like, hey, do you know of any Christian schools? And she was like, why do they got to go to a Christian school? Like, it's not that important. I'm like, yeah, if I can have a Christian doctor, like if everything can align with our morals, I would absolutely do that, especially for my children.
For sure.
Because I know how important environments are. I know how important what my daughters see, what my daughters hear, and what they're around shapes who they are. And especially school, because they're there for 8 hours a day. And so if I can control the environment, because I know how powerful environments can be, I'm going to do that. And I think that's the same thing for a marriage. You want to be able to control the environment, set up those boundaries, do all the things that you need to do to make sure you have a thriving marriage. And for those that are single, to get in practice of this stuff. So let's talk about things that can defile. Number one, social media.
Man.
Y'all should already know.
We already beating down your block, knocking pictures out the wall.
Yeah, social media is a big one. Now, social media isn't bad. When I hear people say, I don't want my man to have social media, actually, one of my sisters said that. And I was like, I mean, it's not bad that people have social media. We have it. But you got to have some integrity with it, right?
Yes, you definitely do.
But if you are on social media and you are, as a man, you're seeing all these BBLs. You see a boob a week, a boob a day, a booty a day, the waist,
Man.
women twerking. I mean, it's dang near porn
For sure.
on
They
social media.
They try to hit you in those stories nowadays. I look at the stories you see with viewers, and it's a bunch of porn in there, and I'm like, thank God that's not my struggle.
Right.
Because somebody whose struggle it is.
It could trigger.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think sometimes Instagram and Facebook and them know what they doing. Because
Absolutely.
I'm like, how you gonna let probably more people, more porn sites get to be my viewer than actual people who actually follow me? It's really whack, man, and they really try to set you up for failure in that
demonic, for sure. So social media, if you aren't controlling your algorithm, which there is a way to do that, which we'll talk probably later on, but that can be a rabbit hole that you could sometimes never get out of.
Yeah.
Like leading to porn, like leading to cheating. Back in the day, our grandfathers did not have the access to see so many different type of women. Back then they knew, okay, I got a good woman. Now it's like, I might want to try this and a little of that. And it kind of sets up a false narrative that there's always a better person. There's always a better woman. There's always another man. The grass is greener on the other side. And so this can be very dangerous if you do not have control of your algorithm and what you are watching, what you like, what you see. If you are not on top of unfollowing, blocking, and scrolling past something as quick as possible, baby, this could be very dangerous for your marriage.
Yes, that is. On to number 2, movies, music, and I'm going to say corn. But real talk, y'all need to replace that C with a P. We just doing that for YouTube's guidelines or whatever, man. And these could be slippery slopes, man. Some of your favorite shows, some of your favorite movies, man. They could take you down, like you said, that rabbit hole, and you could just end in some bad places, man. That's why we always talk about those gates, man. You have to, those eyes have to guard it, man, because some things can come in, and then you start to looking at your wife, your husband a little bit different. Yeah, and then just also the music that's coming in. What are we taking in on a day-to-day? A lot of times you could think it's not harmful or anything like that. But a lot of times that is programming your mind. Yeah. I mean, let me tell you, many different times when I was trying to reprogram my mind, when I was trying to get better as a salesman or anything like that, a lot of my mentors told me, hey, ride and listen to this CD back then, to date myself a little bit, CD, and listen to how they're speaking and all that. And it started to transform how I presented myself when I came into somebody's place, into their house on an appointment. Yeah. Why? Because I had to reprogram my mind, not to see myself as Namdi who I am, but as this salesman, man. Let me tell you, it's because of those gates, man. Even when as a believer, I would, sometimes sleep to sermons, like really crazy. But those things will kind of help reprogram your mind. And that same way, music can do that. Yes. Movies can do that. CORN, you know what I'm trying to say here, can really do that and really could shape how you view your spouse. It can defile your marriage.
Yeah, I was going to say, even as small as intimate scenes that are the intimate scenes now are bizarre. Really? The intimate scenes are wild now. Like the Zeus Network. I know I don't know if you know about that. Yeah, so Zeus Network is a real ratchet media, even Shade Room, just a lot of stuff that does not present marriages, relationships. It's always breakups. One thing that I want to say about how this can be damaging, I want to say just from a woman's perspective, is when you are watching Zeus Network and all these girls fighting and catching their man cheating and they beating the girl up, it sets you up, one, to think that all men are cheaters. Because I watched Love and Hip Hop in the beginning of our marriage.
Yeah, I remember that.
I watched Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives. I was into that stuff. It was, obviously entertaining. And I'm like, what you doing? Stuff is coming in my spirit. This man ain't doing nothing. He working 80 hours a day, But it's something that you have to be aware of, in on the music part as well. Listening to one of the songs that I couldn't listen to was SZA, The Weeknd. I just can't stop through the weekend. You 9 to 5 on the. You don't know that song.
Baby, listen, y'all. Listen.
He's really
Hope y'all
saved.
don't think I'm a super corny Christian type of guy.
He's really saved,
but
y'all.
I just really don't.
He loves the Lord.
I don't really listen to too much R&B.
Okay, so you making me seem like I'm out here.
I listen to old
y'all
school,
know what
like
that
probably
song,
like 99,
baby, you know what that is. The
90s and
Weeknd.
2000s.
The Weeknd.
I remember hearing. I think I remember hearing it maybe once or so. Yeah, something about just being something on the weekend.
Yeah.
I probably
Anywho, it's about a woman cheating. It's about a man cheating, and she's okay with just having the weekend with him.
That's wild.
Right, but if you don't know, listening to this stuff, it trains you.
And then all of a sudden, you look up and you the weekend chick.
Exactly.
And you ain't even thinking about.
Not only that, it glorifies being the weekend chick. Yeah. So it's not even just becoming a weekend chick. I am the weekend. Yeah. I just have him on weekend, girl. I give him back to his lady. Go back to your wife. You don't know that's programming you. And the same thing for men. Yeah. If you listen to music that women ain't nothing but hoes and tricks, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing but this. Like you are training yourself. So this is another thing. Sorry, I just had to say that especially from a woman's perspective.
Music is so
Music is so powerful. Media, TV, it is trained. Television. Yeah. That is what it's doing. It is a.
That's good.
It is.
It tells a vision.
It tells a vision. So number 3, environments. Yeah. I have seen, it's something that Kevin Samuel said. Well, let me say environments, boundaries, and community. Kevin Samuels used to say, single women keep single women single. And it's something that's kind of true. I mean, but on the flip side, married men being friends with a bunch of single men is probably a problem, especially if those single men aren't thriving in a lifestyle that is trying to be pleasing to the Lord. Yeah. Because what I found out when I be seeing these married women that have single friends, they are vicariously living through these people's wild lives. Yeah. You know, you coming home, man, girl, I'm telling you, I must have got on that. Really? Yeah. How'd you do? And you sitting there married. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is dangerous.
No, it really is.
That will have you missing single life.
Thinking that grass is greener. You out here really having a good time.
Yeah. It's like, I wish I was able to stay out and, so environments that don't honor your marriage, environments that aren't including honorable marriages, community that doesn't include people, again, if they are single, let them be striving in abstinence and trying to abstain from, sex or intimacy. And just trying to walk an upright life. And the lack of boundaries. The lack of a standard in your marriage, going to different churches, staying one spouse, you only see one spouse and you never see the husband or you never see the wife or, staying out all night or staying on the phone all night and not in your bed. Like certain boundaries that you had to implement, it was something that we had to do, difficult when you are used to being around people that don't have boundaries in their marriage. Yeah. And so I feel like the environments in the community can be detrimental for your marriage if they aren't godly.
Yeah. You definitely got to set those boundaries especially with those coming into marriage and all that. Tell your single homies like, yeah, bro, I gotta go. You gotta let them know like, bro, I gotta go. I remember one of my homies, he was married before me. And me and him, we would rap. We would talk on the phone a good amount. But as soon as he hit that door at home, I knew it. He's like, hey, this guy home, man, let me hit you back. Yeah. He was setting a boundary with me, and I wasn't upset with it. See, now, if you got friends that's getting upset about this, that you saying, hey, bro, I probably can't come play ball with y'all. Hey, yeah, man, I actually can't come to the gym at that time anymore. I got to get with my wife. We actually do a devotional at that time.
Right,
like, if you got dudes who's not really respecting, like, man, what you talking about, bro? Right. I thought you ain't been kicking it with the boys no more. I thought you got family members who feel like, nah, you're not coming to the barbecues no more. You're not pulling up. No, like, your first order of ministry is to your marriage first.
Absolutely.
And to your kids. Yes. Like, it's to those first.
Yeah.
And then everybody else after that. You got to have people who respect those. And you have to set those boundaries, else
nobody will.
Else they'll run all over. Yeah. You have your homie on the phone just to telling you about every daggone chick that he hit. And you sitting there like,
yes, that's a problem.
I remember then. Yeah,
that's a problem. Because you will begin to miss single life, and you'll be like, "Dang, I remember when I was able to." You know,
and then you get delusional and forget that, man, all that stuff out there was trash.
It was horrible.
It was nothing out there
you were
for
dodging
you in the
the
first
STD
place.
every moment.
And if you're a single person watching this, I ask that you would be the type of single friend that you would want when you're married.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Because I had a lot of people who got married before me. And I never really did anything to defile their marriage in any way, I guess you would say, to disrespect their marriage. Yeah. And I would also let them know, like, man, they made the right choice. I would help them.
Right.
Like sometimes I had homies who would look to me and see that I'm talking to so-and-so and think that, like, that's dope.
Yeah.
Like I remember a homie having a little bit of an issue, and a marital issue, and it seemed like they may be on, him and his wife may be on the splits.
Yeah.
And they were literally, I think, not even living in the same house together. We met up, we pulled up, and we had some dinner, and he's telling me about his situation, and I'm a single guy at this time. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I literally looked at him, I said, bro, I told him a horror story. I ain't gonna go into details, but it was just a story about some things I was going through in my singleness. And I said, bro, it's nothing out here. I said, listen, bro, go back home.
Period.
And to this day, him and his wife are still together. They probably, let's just say, they're probably one of the longest marriages that I know.
Wow.
But I could have been a friend. I'm like, man, heck, man, like, hey, like, you want to hit up the club? You want to hit up the spot?
You need that.
Like, let's do that. No, I was like, what would I want somebody to tell me right now? I'm like, hey, bro, I know you see it.
Yeah.
I know you think that it's cool.
Yeah.
But bro, man, you actually the lucky one.
And that shows a lot about your character, that you weren't just interested in their mess and finding out the details of what they were going through. Nah. Like, you like, no, I don't care what, I mean, you know, as long as it's not biblical or whatever, crazy. But, you know, overall, just like, work it out, you know, because that is what you would want.
He was the one actually in the wrong. And so I was just telling him, like, hey, bro, I know you think it's cool, and I know you maybe starting to have a little bit of fun out here, but let me tell you, once you get done with all that, you're going to feel sick to your stomach once you see that woman of God gone and she's clear out of sight. She's still in sight right now. I said, dude, go home. And within probably weeks or so, he hit me up like, hey, bro, thank you for that talk.
Yeah, so that's definitely what you would need from your single friends, but most times that's not happening. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. It goes to single people that are encouraging you to become single, right? Okay, so now let's move forward on to how to actually purify, or how to keep your marriage pure, how to keep it whole, how to keep it set apart, right? The first thing, which, listen, y'all, it's gonna sound cliche, but it is something that should never die in your marriage, and that is a prayer life together, worship life together, and going to the same church. I don't know what the thing is. I'm not sure why married couples are going to separate churches. Maybe each situation is different, but it is really hard to be on the same page because you just don't know biblically what is happening in each church and if they are aligning. Yeah. Because and just being on, it's not even like, it could be dangerous. Let me say this. It could be dangerous, but someone could be growing further and faster than the other spouse, you know? And so you just want to be mindful of that. But having a prayer life together, man, I said this on one of our reels that have gone viral. It hit 1 million, which is the war on marriages. And, you know, some people are like, what? What's the war? Like, there is a war on marriages. The enemy does not want to see us thriving. The enemy does not want whole families with a mother and a father in the household with morals and standards. So because there is a war, even the petty things like that, me and you'll be like, babe, hold on, that's the devil trying to sneak in. Like, let's pray, hold it down. You have to have a prayer life together and be mindful of because it's those small things that build up. You don't talk, you're quiet, more separation happens. Next thing you know, you looking at somebody else, you're getting more emotional. You have to have a prayer life together.
Yeah, I think, and it's so powerful. Anytime that you and I come together, it just makes me think about when the Bible says the two or more are gathered.
Yes.
There also will be. Like, that is so powerful. Like, when we're on the same page with prayer, it just seems like God really does move in whatever that area is. We were speaking before this about something. And we're like, we're going to pray on that thing together. And I believe that the Lord is going to move, man. That is so powerful. Make sure that you and your spouse are just creating that time. Like, we have a reminder in our phones that we, pray every night. Now, I ain't gonna say we perfect on it, but what it does is remind us continually. It's a daily thing. Keep it in front of us. They're like, dang, we might have fell off a little bit. It keeps it in front of us. So make sure, even if you got to set up some type of reminder to make sure that y'all pray. Hit on what you kind of said too, babe, about church. Like, I don't know why people are doing that, but that's a divided home right there. Yes, it is. Like, I could not understand.
Because who do the kids go with?
I don't know. That's a question for some people that's doing that. I don't really, I don't get it. I don't think that it's healthy.
Because I was going to say, maybe because one person is working or hired, but at the end of the day, you need to come here too.
Yeah.
Like if I got hired on as a worship leader at a certain church, I'm not going by myself.
Yeah.
You're coming with me.
Like it's just a different situation. Just even the content that you guys are consuming, that you're not too far off. Like we've had times where when we was on some off, because we both were consuming YouTube content.
Right.
It might be like, don't get it wrong. YouTube nowadays is a way for you to go to church. It's something called YouTube University. My dad used to always say to me, like, if your wife is going in and she's going to get a degree in whatever, he said, you need to be moving in that same direction at all times. Because what will happen is somebody over here got her ear, somebody over here has my ear. We're moving in two totally different, all of a sudden, you look up and y'all are on two separate sides of the island. Now y'all having issues. Now y'all thinking about being on the outs. And I remember when we had a season like that where we both were like just on kind of just in two different, totally different areas. Thank God for godly counsel that kind of brought us in together. Like, hey, listen, y'all gotta healthily like do this and make sure y'all don't get far off track. Listen, so we just letting y'all know this can happen to anybody. It happened to us before too, but we got it back on the same track. And usually we stay within the lines. Like you got some different things that you look at, but and I do too. It's more like I look at sports and you look at
I look at women's stuff. That's the only thing that's different. But our speakers all align.
Yeah, like right now, it's a sermon right now. She knows she better not look at it without me. Like she knows she better not look at that sermon without me.
And I also want to say worshiping together as well. Like getting comfortable with lifting your hands and singing praises together. I want to say this before we move on to the next point. Please don't undermine how sneaky the enemy is. These things sound small. Oh, we don't have to go to the same church. Oh, we don't have. If you give that Negro an inch, he will snatch a mile. Go ahead and open up a crack in your home. Go ahead and have room where the enemy can talk to your wife and whisper to your wife. Go ahead and have her listening to, like Namdi said, I was listening to a whole completely different pastor who was on a whole different track than what Namdi was listening to. And I was learning in a whole different direction, and it divided our home. It divided our home. Me not even being aware. This is Christian content. This is a pastor I'm listening to. How can that divide your home? Because you're not on the same page. And so just be mindful. First and foremost, like be friends to where you want to do everything with each other. Like I want to do everything with Namdi. I want to, outside of like my feminine stuff that I watch, and women's stuff and being a wife. Yeah, I enjoy being on the, we got our shows that we catch up on together. Like, just being in alignment. So I just want to say that don't think that the enemy won't try to outwit y'all and get in the crack and get in the crevices of your marriage, because he will. And he will use the smallest thing as y'all going to different churches. Oh, well, she's a worship leader over here, so she does that. Well, you need to be there. And then let me just say this is the last thing. It's something that I think it was E.T. said. Set the standard to where you won't even have to choose difficult things like that. Like, oh, well, if I'm getting hired, it's automatically you're coming with me. This is just an extension of who I am. So you gonna expect Namdi to be in the building with me. You know what I mean? So even if you're taking jobs and they're like, oh, well, or you're taking, the family comes too. And you set that standard, and God will honor that standard because he honors marriage. He honors family. So just don't think that you have to choose. You don't have to choose. You just have to set the standard and watch God work.
You definitely do. So number 2, godly community and friends. Let me tell you, what about your friends? Let me tell you. They say birds of the same feather flock together, and that should be so also within marriages. Man, you should be hanging with other married couples, man. That community. Not saying that everybody has to, but majority of them should. Okay, why? Because your single friends can't really relate to what you're dealing with and what you're going through, man. A lot of times the enemy, he likes separation. He gets you alone and gets you to thinking, I'm the only one that's going through this situation. I'm the only one mama whose wife does this little particular thing that ticks them off, or whose husband does this particular thing. A lot of times, what we find whenever we get with other married couples, we like, man, we going through the same thing, and you're like, man, okay, so how do you deal with that or whatever? You know, what I love to do is I like to get around like older couples, because I like to see how they operate. Like, how is he treating his wife? Because obviously, if you've been married for 30 years or something like that, then there's something that you're doing right. So I'm able to kind of look at you and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to take that. I need to open up her door when I do that. Okay, man, let me make sure I do that, or say that to her or whatever. You could pick up some wisdom, man. How are you going to do that when you're hanging around people that have not even been there? I like to be around people who've been further ahead than me, so I can pick their brain, so I can make sure that that I'm equipped and well equipped for that role. Again, that's only going to happen in godly community with friends who are doing the same thing that you're doing too.
Number 3, purifying your media. So y'all know in the first part where we talked about what can make your marriage impure, which is social media and what you watch, TV, television, just media in general, YouTube, podcasts, all of these things. If you are watching the wrong thing, it can definitely destroy your marriage. But if you purify your marriage or your media, it actually can purify your marriage. Because if you are watching godly content, you're watching godly YouTubers, godly podcasts, godly married couple content, those things that can remind you, give you tools, and help you be equipped, using everything as a library, using everything as tools, reading the same books. You know, I believe in this life, like, we're like, okay, where do you have fun if everything is educational and everything is holy and everything is Christian and learning? And because sometimes I'm that way. I'm like, okay, babe, it's enough learning. Like, relax my brain cells. But as you develop in the Lord, He will purify your fun. He will purify what is actually enjoyable. So like something that I do to just, relax or whatever, or just not have to learn something, is like watch Martin, or watch, the Jamie Foxx show, or, kind of those, I love 90s sitcoms, all of those things.
Yeah, they were the best. You will never be the same.
Yes, it just reminds me of a little bit of a better world. But you want to, nowadays, because media is pushing such a perverted agenda. It is perverted. The agenda is perverted. Let me just say that. We no longer can just, I just want to, no, you have to be intentional about your media. You have to be intentional about your YouTube. You have to be intentional about what you watch because even things that you don't like, if you watch it for too long, it tells the algorithm, she paused for 30 seconds on this. And you're seeing the fights, or you're seeing the divorce, or you're seeing the breakups, or you're seeing the toxicity of all the relationships on the shade room and all of that. So you want to purify your media so you can purify your marriage, because it is a part of your eye gates. It is that serious.
Yes. I think that you got to do what's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. If you would do what's hard, it'll make your life easier later. And so I know a lot of times on social media, it's it can be hard not to look at some things. It's just kind of, it could be kind of funny. Like, for instance, like you see some people about to fight in the street or something. You want to see what's about to happen. And so you sitting there and you have to fight that urge and be like, nah, man, forget that.
Yes.
Or for instance, you're following like the shade room and you see that body come up on your timeline and you like, the story may be wanting to pull you, but your eyes don't need to see that woman booty.
Right.
All right. Need to scroll up, need to swipe up or whatever. Like, you got to do what is hard. And it will make your life so much easier. It will make your marriage so much easier. Yes. Let me tell you, man, it might sound corny to a lot of cats, and that's not what it don't matter. Like, we trying to be successful in marriage, okay? Right. I think if you watching this, you're trying to be successful in your marriage or your future marriage or in your relationship in some type of way. Yeah. So you're going to have to do those hard things. Not everybody think that, going to the gym is the funnest thing ever either. Right. Okay? But it will produce a better health. Okay? Yeah. It could extend your life. Okay? We're trying to extend the life of your marriage. And so you may have to say, nah, I'm not going to watch that show. I remember you was talking about, like, I used to watch Love and Hip. Shoot, I used to watch it before I met you sometimes. Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, okay.
Love and Hip Hop or whatever. I used to watch that, and it's fun to kind of see some like funny stuff going on in
relationship. You would chime in on Basketball Wives.
I remember Basketball Wives and all that stuff. But
because it's drama. Our flesh loves mess.
It's natural. Sin,
natural.
Sin is what, like, we were born into this sinful nature.
Yes.
And so you just have to fight that nature, man. And I'm telling you, you want your algorithm to look a little bit different. Make sure you're liking the right things. Don't, even if you're not liking, you can't stand. If you stay on there for just a little bit, they pay people 6-figure salaries, some 7-figure salaries, just to watch your programming.
Yeah.
And make sure that they keep certain things in front of you. So you have to watch the way that you do that. Your books, your content, just make sure that it's godly content that is feeding, that is going to help your marriage grow into the next level that you want to see.
Overall, you have to do what's hard. You have to do what's hard, and you will train your being, your eye gates, your ear gates to want higher level stuff. Like, I'll never watch Love and Hip Hop again. I'll never watch Basketball Wives. Like, I mean, I might peak a little bit.
It's not good for your spiritual diet.
It's not good for my spiritual diet. It's not good for my marriage. Why am I continuously watching these 40-year-old women hop from man to man to man to man to man to man to man? That is like, and I'm not even trying to be judgmental or think that no, I need to see married women thriving in their marriages.
You know,
because I'm not that far off. Like, it ain't like I'm 70 years old and just chilling. Like, I'm young. I am a millennial. I am in this time. I have to tell like you said, I see something, I'm like, whoop.
Yep.
Whoa. Just overall, do what's hard, do what's difficult. You will reap a harvest. You will gain a level of maturity that you never had before. And like I said, I didn't say this, but you will attract other people that are like that, which will make it easier because I'm surrounded by people who have boundaries. I'm surrounded by people that, girl, I just know it's a standard we set, period. Like, there's just a standard that we have. We don't watch mess. We don't listen to mess. And what we do, we're like, okay, I can't do that again. Let's move forward. Let's do better. So hopefully this helps you. Listen, comment down below if you agree or disagree, or if you have more points that maybe defile marriages or more points that can purify marriage. We would love to know what you think. Comment down below.
Good, family. We want to pause for a quick moment. Hope you're getting tremendous value from this video, but we want to share with you, it shows that about 49% of you who are watching right now are not subscribed.
49%. Listen, y'all, it's free to subscribe. It's free to hit the notification bells. And if you keep coming back, you keep watching, that means you like the vibe. So join the family, click that notification bell, click the subscribe button. We would so totally appreciate it.
Yes, we will. Back to the show.
Next question is from another fellow follower, and we are super duper honored. Hey girl, we hope that you watch this. Oh, also, I just wanted to say before I move into this topic, please just watch every episode, because some of y'all ask us to go over topics and we just don't be remembering who it is sometimes. And we can't inbox y'all and be like, hey, make sure you watch episode 12. We covered your topic. So just make sure you're catching up. If you want to watch them in order, I know people that we talk to be like, I want to watch the things in order or whatever. So you can if you want to. But moving on, this young lady said, what is some advice that you will want to give to a married woman that feels like a single mom? And I thought this was so intriguing because, one, I actually was asked this question before on Fresh Leftovers on our interview. I guess it was a question by another wife that the interviewer asked me. And I remember when they asked, and you and the two other guys that was a part of this interview was like, what? How can you... What? She talking about she feels like a single mom and she married, and I'm like, yeah, because I felt that way. That was an experience that I had. And so I remember when me and Namdi first got married, well, not when we first got married, but more so when our kids became toddlers and started being able to walk and talk and ask for mommy, 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 mommy. And so I would be in the kitchen, cooking and doing the laundry and, wiping tables down and like just doing a lot of, the homemaking things that I do. And the kids would zip right past Namdi and they'll be on my heels. Mama, can I have this? Mama even did this. I'm like, why she do that? And I would just watch Namdi be on the couch like, hey buddy, you gonna chime in to get your kids? Like, I'm overwhelmed. And so I remember just I began to build almost resentment towards you. And I began to get annoyed, like, so you're just gonna sit back. Do you hear them? Like, do you hear these kids saying mom 24/7 as I'm cooking, preparing dinner, as I'm cleaning this house, as I'm doing do you hear this? And on top of that, I'm rapping, I'm making cheerleading music. Like, I am doing a lot. Help me, right?
Yeah.
And so for a while, I was a silent sufferer for a very long time, actually. And then I also felt like I wasn't a good mother if I didn't do it all. Like I wasn't a good wife and I wasn't a good mom if I couldn't handle my kids and cook and clean and whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, I'm married though, and this is their father. And so I remember I came to you and I ended up just sharing with you, like, hey, babe, like I set up a scenario. I believe I did it in a great way. Is this a conversation that was good?
You did good.
Okay, because you told me the last one.
You did good.
Okay, yeah. So I ended up going up to Namdi. I was just like, hey, babe, I set up a scenario. I said, when I'm in the kitchen and I'm like cooking and you can see that I'm like really focused and trying to get things done. On top of that, like y'all, I'm not just a stay-home mom. I do other things. So I'm usually like editing or doing something else, and you see that the kids keep coming to me. Can you open this? Can you get? They're not. There are things that you can do. Is there any way possible that sometimes you can just grab the kids, but hey, leave your mama alone. Like what do you need? And so I feel like you responded very well to it. And we never had that conversation again. Did you feel like in those environments where I was, working hard, I was cooking, I was cleaning, did you feel that I was under a lot of pressure? Like, did you feel that, or were you unaware? Because I think women also need to know, like, where are y'all minds at while we are doing so much? We feel like y'all just ignoring us, being scandalous fathers, being a scandalous husband. But, like, were you aware?
Yeah, I think that I wasn't as aware as I probably should have been. Because I'm in the midst of doing my thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the midst of, for instance, I'm actually doing something. So
right,
for y'all,
right.
I'm not sitting there just watching the game or anything like that. I think that might jump into what we got here is that, one of the things is me and you need to check your environment.
Yeah.
I would be sitting there and I would be doing like a schedule. I'll be looking at something.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, like, because my job, I used to have to come home, do schedules, had to be in a chat,
you worked
check, hey,
all
where's
day.
The numbers at?
Yeah.
Hey, how did this end? Okay, cool, you can give them this credit. Like, I would have to do all those things in those early stages. So I don't even, like, them doing all that, like, it was almost like background noise.
Yeah.
I'm not even paying no attention.
Yeah,
you and then you're like, hey, you have to break. So women, you have to make sure that he hears that, because he's probably not doing that on purpose.
Right.
He's probably going, like, doing
his
some
mind
work
is everywhere.
Or like men, man, our mind is all like a good amount of us where our mind is on our money. We think about our next move or whatever the case.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't there in an environment. So that's one of the things.
Leading into the next point, and before I go into the next point, I also want to say, ladies, don't be a silent sufferer.
Yeah.
Like, don't silently suffer and think that a man is supposed to read your mind. Hear me when I say this, because there are so many women that I talk to that are like, they have so many complaints about their men. They'll tell me, like, I wish he did this, I wish he did that. And I'm like, have you shared that with him? No, I just feel like, why do y'all feel like men are supposed to read y'all minds? Mm-hmm. Now, listen, on top of the fact that your man is not a mind reader, when you do present any issue that you have to your man, you want to do that with the utmost respect and honor so that he can actually receive it. Because either we are a silent sufferer or we bring information to you in such an emasculating way that you are not able to receive what we are actually requesting because you have been so deeply offended in the midst of our request. So the request just gets thrown away because you done called him out his name, told him he was lazy and no good and this. Why you ain't been able to? He missed the whole point.
That's one of the biggest parts.
Yes. So number one, you want to make sure that you don't suffer in silence. Men, they need to hear the request. We might be able to feel a man and be able to be like, he seemed a little off today. I'm going to make him a cup of tea. He seemed a little sad. I'm going to leave him alone. We might be able to do that. But baby, you got to tell the man. You got to communicate. And how you communicate with him. I say this for every situation. Set up a scenario where that you know your man will be comfortable in. Mm-hmm. So if that's over dinner, you don't want to do this in the middle of the day while he's working. Hey, I just been meaning to tell you. You want to make sure that he's relaxed.
Going off on him while he trying to make money.
Exactly. That's if you want to give him a massage while you're sharing this with him. If you want to rub his feet while you share this information with him. If you want to pour him a glass of wine while you share this information, whatever it is, your man. Set it up for him. Yeah. And just like, hey babe, I wanted to express, and just make sure you're doing it with honor and respect. Calm yourself down from your frustration before you go to him. Speak to the Father, take your emotions out of it, and go to him with honor and respect. So, moving on now, outside of that, what advice would you give to the men, husbands to actually help their wives when it comes to their children, so they won't feel like a single mom?
Number one, brothers, look up, listen, check your environment. Okay, like I said, it could be just like a soundtrack going on that you just used to that. Especially if as you were a kid, and let's just say you had both parents and you were used to going to your mother all the time, and you saw your mom. Like a lot of the older school women, they suffered in silence. Okay, new school women have too much social media and other things to know that they don't have to suffer in silence.
Right,
like you can actually have productive conversations, because a lot of those mothers. A lot of our mothers, they were miserable, and they just went through a lot of marriage miserable, or that marriage didn't actually end up lasting.
Right.
Why? Because maybe she never had that conversation with your father to really like, hey, I'm needing some help. They all are coming to me. And so, check your environment. Number two, make sure that you leave work at work and be present at home. Leave work at work.
Yeah.
Like that was one of my issues, is that a lot of times, some of us, we have jobs that continues even once we're gone there. Okay, we have to stay in a chat. We have to answer emails. We're doing some of these high level jobs, and we have to be present even when we're not there.
Yeah.
So, if as much as you can, leaving at work, and if you don't have a job that can respect that type of boundary,
you don't need it.
Maybe you need to look at a different career. Okay. Because this is the most important relationship. This is the most important thing that you got going on, is what you and your wife have.
Amen.
Let me tell you, you have all the positions, the money, all that. She gone out the door. That whole structure, that whole foundation is all messed up. Now you have something else thrown in there now. Yeah. Okay, when are you coming to pick up the kids? Right. How much money you got to send for that? Yeah. Let me tell you, that right there is not what you want. Let me tell you, so leave work at work. Number three, help with tasks. Get involved with the kids. Like, for instance, when she came to me and talked to me about those things, sometimes now I'll just go ahead. I know that she might put them in the tub. Right. I might just go ahead and just finish it off. Yeah. Let me go ahead and get them taken care of. Make sure I help them out with their bath, or maybe it's helping out with the homework for my little girl who's in elementary. So helping her out with some of those things and some of those other tasks. Putting the dinner in the oven, being able to do those things. So just helping her out with some of those tasks. Helpful. Take it off of her plate, so she's not just overwhelmed and she doesn't feel like that single mom. And let me tell you, this is not easy. Sometimes she has to kind of tap me just to, hey, a little bit here and there, not as much. Like back then it was a lot, but every once in a while they ask me to do something. But this is something that you just have to put into practice. Yeah, man, that we have to do.
Yeah, and I said this on the interview when this was it was the same question to ask, but also like, husbands, pray for discernment. Like, you don't have to not have discernment in your marriage just because you're a man. Like, yes, we should not suffer in silence, but how much better would it be to just be on top of stuff, to just if you see me feeling the type of way, like, the type of zone, like, and you have that when you can kind of see, okay, she's stressed. Oh yeah, kids, get out of here, and you'll close the door, and leave me alone.
Oh yeah, you got to play goalie. Like they'll start to come, and then my mom, no, come here. Yeah. What do you need? Okay. All right, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, baby, I'm gonna help you out with this. You gotta play goalie, because especially for women that are stay at home. Yes. Okay, because their job never ends. Yes. Think about that. Right. You get off at a certain times in a lot of these jobs. Yeah. They don't get off. Yeah. So when I am home, or I'm done with work because I'm home all day because I work from home. Yeah. But when they get here and I am actually done with work now, because I can do that now, I'm like, all right, now let me play goalie. Right. She may be resting. she may just be on her phone and just trying to
or
get
doing
a
another
moment.
activity. And I don't want to do another millionth thing. But it also reminds me that it gets them used to asking daddy because, I remember the guy in the interview was like, they can see us and go past us. It's because they are not used to you helping. Like they're not used to you getting them the bowl of cereal. They're not used to you putting them in the tub. That's what mommy does. Yep. But if you make it normal for your kids to that daddy does stuff, they'll begin to ask, daddy, can you get this? That so now they be calling on daddy too. Like if I do a little signal, they be like, dad, like they going to dad, And so just making it normal for them. But back to the other point that I want to make is to pray. Husbands, men of God, and women, pray for your husband to have more discernment. Pray for your husband to be more aware. They don't have to just be stuck in one way. They can grow and they can develop.
Yeah,
so
definitely. So, I mean,
that's it,
what do you guys think? Any advice for a woman that feels like she's a single mom? Maybe you have been in that predicament too. Make sure that you share in those comments below. What's up, family? We wanted to pause for just a moment to let you all know we have created a way for you guys to partner with us with our Patreon community launch.
Yes, look, have y'all been enjoying the gems, the conversations, the transparency, baby? We've been putting our whole life on this camera. And if you have been enjoying it, we are creating an opportunity for you to partner with us because we want to be able to create at the highest level of excellence, and that requires resources. And that is where you come in. We have created a tier as low as $5 a month, y'all. $5. $5. So if you would like to partner with us, just simply click the link in the description box, and we hope to see you over there. Yes. Moving on, we have another question from a subscriber. And this question is, should a non-biological parent, a step parent, be able to discipline the child that is not theirs? Is there a fine line as to what is too much or isn't enough?
Wow.
Blended family questions.
I feel like
this is our first time talking about blended family stuff.
Yeah. So that's a very that's a tough one.
It is. Cause it's
so
many different directions.
So many different directions.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me. So when me and Namdi first got together, our two oldest were like 5 and 9 or something like that. Yeah. And I was also a first time mother. I was a very young mother. Mm-hmm. Although I knew that I would probably, whoop. Yes, we're gonna say those words in here. Listen, I don't know if it's a trigger warning for some people. Maybe you need to put out there, but although I knew I would whoop my kids, I never thought about whooping anyone else's children. So when I first got in, though, because they weren't old, but they were old enough, I didn't feel like it was my place. And I'm gonna tell you why. I just sat back and I watched what the actual biological parents did. And so when it comes to our two oldest, I saw you whoop one daughter once out of the 8 years that I've been here. And then I also know that, our children, they don't get whoopings at home. Like y'all, the moms or you, don't touch them. Yeah. And so for me and my personal experience, this is all I'm going to share, my personal experience. Because I automatically saw that, okay, mom isn't doing that, dad isn't doing that, I am automatically not doing that. Yeah. That's just point blank period. There's nothing to talk about. I also didn't desire to do that. I also didn't have disrespectful stepkids that was just, doing tripping stuff that made me be like, girl, what you say? I didn't have that. I didn't experience that. And even outside of like physical discipline, just taking things away, timeouts or any of that, anything that I ever felt like, because when they come to your home, those are they're your children, period. But you in my house, right? So you abide by my rules. So there are things that, sometimes the kids wouldn't do. I would go to their dad. I would just kind of pass it over. Like, I would let them know, like, hey, babe, they didn't do this. This is a mess. They left the food out. They this, and that. I kind of began to grow a little more courage to kind of begin to say, like, okay, y'all gotta wipe it up. But I wasn't disciplined. This is a conversation surrounding discipline. I wasn't disciplining. The only reason why I would give a step parent a goal to discipline a child, one, is if both biological parents agree to that. That's number one. Both of y'all are cool, and the mother of the child is like, girl, yes, tell her to, yeah, go ahead and pop her on her, whatever. If she agrees to that. And the second part is, if the the other biological parent is not in their life, and you had that child from like one or two, like that, you are all they know. You are legit their parent. Then yes, you can discipline. Yes, we can whoop. We can whatever you and your spouse decides to do. But in my personal experience, I have never disciplined them. I have never taken anything away. I've never laid a hand on them because it just didn't feel like it didn't feel like my place. Yeah. I would have felt awkward doing that, and I didn't have it. They weren't hard to deal with.
Yes, it's really such a nuanced situation.
Yeah.
I believe this is going to be based upon you and the parents' relationship, the other parents' relationship. If you guys have some type of agreement, I've probably only had one stepfather of one of my children, who I actually had communication with. And I don't know if we even talked about that. If it had come to it, the type of man that he was, I would have been okay with him disciplining him.
Right.
Because he was a man of God. He wasn't this violent type of guy or anything like that.
Right.
That has to be something that you can be comfortable that this person is not going to hurt your child. And so, it just comes down to, I think it's a fairly simple but could be complex thing that y'all got to be able to all come into agreement.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then you have to dish off to the parent who actually is the biological one. Yeah. Okay, so like you said, whenever it came to my kids, it's still to this day. Sometimes if you may say something to one of my kids and they still don't do it, it's like, listen, this ain't like, if this was Brooklyn and Eva, this would go a whole nother way.
For sure.
But listen, I need you to go in there and regulate. Yeah. I need you to go in there and set things straight. I can't do that. Yeah. So can you go in there and now tell her, that she needs to clean her room or she needs to do whatever the case. Didn't really have to do much disciplining in my case. So I would say that, we have some answers to this, but I would definitely tell you to seek even more guidance on this for those who.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think maybe for parents that have a difficult child.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say I feel like this question only comes from someone that's like, baby, I got some step kids. Okay, like they are
overstepping.
Yeah, they overstepping. So I want to speak to the woman or I'm pretty sure it was a lady. If you are dealing with a difficult stepchild, I would assume you're dealing with a difficult stepchild because maybe you and your spouse aren't agreeing to how to discipline the child. That's what I would assume, because you was ever to see our oldest two do a little something like snap their neck at me, you'd be like, wait, hold on, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you want to make sure you and your spouse are on the same page. What are you expecting from your children? So I would say, I don't know, for some reason I feel like I'm leaning towards your marriage, praying together about how to discipline your child and having mature conversations. If this stepchild is doing a lot, because I do know a woman that had a stepchild who overstepped their boundaries and was disrespectful, almost act like they were going to hit the step parent, and the actual parent wasn't doing anything. And so I feel like anytime there is issues with stepchildren and how they are behaving in a home, that has everything to do with the adults. That's everything to do with the adults. And so instead of what to know what is so far, the simple starting point is having conversation with all parties. So mother of the child, father of the child, spouses. What is the standard for our kids? Okay, they need to be at bed at 8:00 with no phone. Set up the standard, like, okay, across board, they go to sleep at 8:00 with no phone. Across the board, they're doing chores. Because I think that's what the slip up be. When they come over here, they got chores. They going to bed at 8:00. They got to get their phone taken away. It's like, wait a minute, mama let me stay up all night. I ain't got no chores. I ain't got no boundaries. I ain't got to giving you my phone and let you check it. So the biggest thing is to do, and I know some people are like, girl, that's impossible to be on the same page with these, the other parents. But doing the best you can do to make sure all adults are on the same page, because step kids are only difficult because parents and adults are difficult. You get parents and adults on the same page, and y'all can thrive together on how to discipline. Y'all can thrive together on what the boundaries and the standards are for the child. It should be as smooth, because you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine it would be easy. Yeah. The kids won't be shocked when I go over to mama's house. Now I gotta clean up and daddy let me eat McDonald's and now you want to talk about I gotta cook and clean up after we cook, so just setting a standard across the board the best way that you can.
For this question to even come up, there's probably a breakdown in the co-parenting.
Yes.
That's a problem too.
Yes.
And so I would just say to that person, because obviously there's probably a different environment that child is dealing with their biological mother or father. I would again say that you and your spouse get on the same page with it. If the other parent, the biological parent, is not okay with you disciplining their child, again, defer on to your spouse and say, hey, you need to go in there and regulate. And you need to go do what you need to do.
And then lastly, pray. Y'all pray for the co-parenting relationship. Pray for I know I hate saying this, but the baby mamas and the baby daddies, whoever it is, pray for them. No, seriously, pray that your morals and your standards align. This is what makes blended families wasn't supposed to happen, period. But because, sin and we do things outside of God's will, that's what we end up with. But there is a way to do it as best as you can, and that is all adults being mature, all adults being able to have conversations to make sure that the kid can't do one thing at one house and can do it at another house. So just align. But the bottom line is, woman of God, if you're watching this, pray for alignment with all adults, all parties, and you do the best you can to keep the peace and to uphold the standard.
Yes. Anybody else that has tips about that, about disciplining your stepchild, put that in the comments below. You may be going through that same exact thing or have gone through it. We would love to hear what you think down below.
Yes, and that is the end of episode 15.
Episode 15, man.
Yes.
This is so amazing.
I had an amazing time with you, babe.
I always love doing this with you, babe.
Yeah, I pray that you guys enjoyed this one. Again, this was for y'all. We love doing this. And listen, continue to DM us. Continue to inbox us. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter how deep, how far, how wide. We will talk about it. Let us know. So, we hope you like the show. Make sure you do all the things that you're supposed to do. Like the video, comment, let us know you were here, and absolutely subscribe. And we will catch you on the next show. Until then, we love y'all. Goodbye.
Holla. Peace. Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Yes. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Ewables. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.